Hi, my name is Tim Carter, and this is the Apologetic and Outreach Ministry of Landmark Missionary Baptist Church. And we meet in Jacksonville, Arkansas. This website is called IAmKOINE.org. We have colleagues from various backgrounds and from various locations where we confer with each other. We dialogue through Facebook forums when preachers get together, ABA Preachers Forum, have meetings, things like that. So the topics are different, varied. A lot of ours are responses to the core element is noticing elements that have been omitted intentionally or unintentionally through bias, cognitive biases or affective biases according to priming processes where someone is really positively primed for something and they advocate it and then unknowingly use the Bible as a proof text rather than supporting the text of the Bible. They use the Bible as supporting text. It's subtle, but it happens to all of us. We all have blind spots, as Dr. James White of Alpha and Omega Ministries demonstrates very well. That is, he teaches and creates an awareness of that, acknowledges that need of all of us to have that. So this topic is about a difficult situation I was in John Brown University in a class in business communications. And the professor, a gracious lady, was teaching us about how to avoid sexist language. And the more I questioned and tried to understand, the more frustrating it became. For we would try to say chairperson, for example, instead of saying chairman, chair, and then of course that word man at the end. So to try to avoid that, she was recommending person. Of course, she didn't notice son at the end of that. She didn't say per lady or per child or per daughter. It said per son. And then, of course, the word male, the word man itself has this augment, this woman, man, male, and you have female. So it became very difficult in the class as I began to try to understand more and more what are we trying to do here and what are we trying to avoid, because saying woman without man is, then the word doesn't exist. In grammar, a third person is he, she, or it. So even in our grammar classes, we distinguish between a he and a she, male and female, man and woman, chairman, a chairperson. So things weren't really getting better. So I was appealing to my education in Eastern languages, for example, the Koine text, where the word brother and the word sister are the same in the text except for the inflectional morpheme, that is the endings, which one distinguishes male and one distinguishes female. So a female brother and a male brother. So brother and female brother. So it became frustrating. So finally I just said, well, may I appeal to the First Lady of Arkansas, since I'm from Arkansas and I was here when the Clintons were here. And I remember we even scheduled Governor Bill Clinton then to speak at the Arkansas Association of Student Councils in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, our big state meeting. I was happy as the president to know that we had Senator Dale Bumpers coming. Sheffield Nelson was coming. Governor Bill Clinton would be there. We had the plaque ordered. Then he sent some young man, not very famous at the time, but he was a Razorback quarterback, Kevin Scanlon. Now, I know he's a successful young man today and a wonderful person, but he wasn't the governor. So I said, well, I need to make an appeal to the First Lady, and since Bill let me down by being a no-show at our state convention, I thought, Hillary won't let me down. So, of course, the teacher said, sure, what's your point? So I just mentioned Hillary Rodham Clinton, and made note of the fact that Clinton is her husband's name, and Rodham was her father's name. So if a leading feminist and activist for women's rights, and obviously someone who would want to be careful about sexist language, and of course today a trend toward gender neutrality, whatever that means, I don't know. I still don't understand what we're trying to do. So I appealed to the First Lady, the former First Lady of now the United States of America, Hillary Rodham Clinton. And I said, if the leading feminist of the world, a gracious lady, is known for being a feminist, a gracious lady, an advocate for women's rights, as she still fights that battle today and wants the woman's voice, the female voice, to be very distinct and clear. Well, she is, by her own admission, teaching that a female name doesn't even exist. Were it not for her retaining her father's name and then taking on her husband's name, there is no actual name associated with a female that's not directly or indirectly associated with her father or with her husband. So she saved my day in a class that was getting rather awkward, as though somehow I invented male, female, man, woman, person, which I hadn't invented it. And of course the professor was very gracious and was relieved as well that Hillary Rodham Clinton taught us all a lesson that if the leading feminist in the world and activist for women's rights, which is a great aspiration of hers and a goal of hers, and she's driven by that, well, she actually, as a feminist, bears the names of two men. So I rested my case. I was done because I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know, you know, we have boy, girl. Those are very different words. And we have, then it gets back to male, female. The root word of female is male, and root word of woman is man, and root word of her son is son, and chairman is man, and Rodham is her father. So I didn't know what we were doing, but I'm so thankful to this day. And First Lady Hillary Clinton, when you view this, thank you. Even though your husband let me down in 1980 by failing to appear as our guest speaker, and I appreciate the stand-in, the quarterback from the Razorbacks, but he wasn't our first pick. But you didn't let me down, and you stepped up, and you took your father's name, retained it, and then you took your husband's name, and with the names of two different men, you have successfully led out in identifying yourself as a female activist, woman's rights activist. So you helped me out in that spot. So if you have any questions, anyone about sexist language or gender neutrality, people blame the Bible, but I'm not sure who do you blame when it comes to Hillary Rodham Clinton. So anyway, she saved my day, and that's just a small point, because in the languages you won't find any language, let's say biblical Hebrew or Koine Greek, or in the Bible, where distinguishing between a male and a female is a problem at all. It's very much, even in Hebrew, there's ish and isha. Ish is just the generic word for man, and isha, feminine ending, is female. So man and woman. So from the ancient Hebrew language of thousands of years before Christ to the now ancient Koine Greek of 2,000 years ago, we have no knowledge, and I, as a very educated person at the time, in that class, in that awkward condition. So I don't find any incentive to deny the reality of that which is historically prevalent, nor do I have any reason to diminish the First Lady of the United States of America, Hillary Rodham Clinton, for I admire her in noticing that she retained her father's name and took her husband's name. So if the leading activist for women's rights can bear the names of two different men simultaneously, then I think we're okay. So there's no sides here. There's just reality, and I'm still grateful and will always cite Hillary Rodham Clinton as the ultimate example that you don't need to deny the reality of the relationship of a woman to men, for she has the name of her father and her husband, and according to those names she identifies herself. So thank you, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Have a blessed day.